as the Sooners pull it out in a hard-fought, ugly game against Auburn. 24-17. They cover the spread. They did everything they were expected to do and less. There's going to be a lot of discussion about how good are we really? What are the things that are concerning us? I'm Steve.
Lucas.
Jay.
Mike.
So we got the audience here. We got everybody from, well, the core crew that stuck around after we had a heck of a game today, guys. Heck of a showing. And
It was loud.
it was
I
real
thought it
loud.
was loud.
It was real loud. And I tell you what, I'm going to get loud about before we start that. Tobacco Exchange, our wonderful postgame sponsor. Really appreciate their patronage. They're great. Greatest selection in the metro area, greatest staff, great prices. Stop in to any of the three stores, Moore, our home base, or Oklahoma City, Edmond. What are we smoking tonight, Lucas?
Tonight we've got a La Roma de Cuba. It's been a while since I had one.
A Cuban?
When I went in there to grab one, I was like, that sounds really good. So I bet Steve's never had one, so
I've never had one.
we fired it up.
I like it. It's a Churchill, too. This thing is long.
I think it's a double Corona.
Woo, there we
Big
go.
boy.
Big.
Because we got a lot of talking to do.
We got a lot of talk. We got to talk it out, guys. Well, the Sooners won. What more do you want? We're happy,
rushing
right?
yards. That's what I want.
Rushing yards. What are those? How did that work?
Well, I saw 32 of them total today.
Uh-huh.
I was figuring we'd probably have like 150. So I'm severely disappointed in the fact that we just
They didn't
can't
fulfill
run the
your
ball.
expectations.
Exactly. I mean, and they didn't score. I had them score 27-17.
I had him scoring 45.
So they were 3 points less than that, and we got a defensive safety. So I don't know. It's a good win against a team that's solid. Jackson Arnold looked pretty good for the most part. They didn't run him as much as I thought they would, but also I don't think he could run against our defense.
Yeah.
And
And we definitely prevented the run. Asked him to
Yeah.
beat us with his arm.
Yeah,
And he did in moments.
I mean,
he still can't throw across the middle.
he threw two passes better today on Owen Field than I think he had in his OU career outside of maybe the
Practice.
Arizona Alamo Bowl.
Uh-huh. Yep.
So
Well, what else do you guys think? You guys on your phones, what do you guys think?
Well, I was just looking. Auburn gave up 64 yards against Baylor rushing, -3 against Ball State, and then 140 against South Alabama.
South Alabama runs the ball better than we do.
So it is a little bit troublesome that we couldn't get some type of run game going.
Yeah.
It looked like we started off the game seeing if their safeties would cover deep. So we ran a few long plays, didn't have a lot of time, but then we just couldn't get things going.
And it wasn't the fact that we had a bunch of offensive linemen out because Pasusi didn't start. Howland was in there, but Pasusi did play quite a bit. I think Wee Woo was injured and he was on the probable list and he played, but
Mhm.
he didn't look right. We really tried to run the ball left more. And, they tried like the Blaylock run left and cut back type thing, and just nothing was there.
Right.
It just wasn't there. It wasn't the initial hole wasn't there. The development when you got a pulled guard or anything else, it just was collapsing under its own weight every
I
time.
thought we might see a little, maybe 3rd and 1 type play with the Mateer option,
Right.
and have
Yeah.
him just dart left and then pitch it to the Blaylock to try to just hit the edge
Uh-huh.
because we had to keep them on their toes with the receiving core.
Right.
And so I don't feel like their linebackers were necessarily playing the run super well, but we weren't attacking the edges.
Yeah.
We just kept trying to run it up the middle and nothing was there.
It was it was so much up the middle. It was bottled up, which is I don't understand with the speed that we've got. The sweep,
we tried the
anything.
sweeps and
I don't know how many plays.
No, not a jet sweep, like a full eye back type of just power sweep.
But I
There's
don't
the
know-
outside zone.
Now, anything.
But I don't know how many plays are scripted, but in the first few series, we ran a couple reverses and a couple counters. We obviously were trying to get them over pursuing. But we never, they
Well,
were
we
very
We
unsuccessful.
ran a greedy reverse
Right.
when it was
second and one.
second and one that was dropped for a 5-yard loss or something.
Yeah.
And it just, to me, maybe they were seeing something on film about their pursuit that didn't pan out and they stayed home. But to me, that's a really greedy position to be in when you can just power through, get the yard, keep a drive going, and that drive stalled out, right?
But I don't mind taking a shot on 2nd and 1 with a play that doesn't have the chance to be a drop
A
for
drop.
a 5-yard loss.
Right.
If you want to drop back or roll him out
And just
give him
throw
a run pass option
Yeah.
or have him just throw it out of bounds if it's not there. Now you're 3rd and 1
right.
and you're going to get it. Take the chance on 2nd and 1. It's a free play as long as you don't lose 4 yards.
Yeah, even
Third
the
and
Auburn
one-
fan next to me said the same thing. He was like, "You guys are gonna throw deep here, or
Right.
give it a shot."
I never did.
No,
Are you sure when you said 3rd and 1, you're gonna get it? Because I'm pretty sure we were like 3 of 16.
We were
On 3rd
1 for
down?
1 on 4th downs in the first half.
We were talking about 3rd and 1, and
Yeah.
we were terrible on 3rd downs.
I would
Well,
agree.
well, we were, but we didn't know that at the time. So you play it with what you
Right.
expect to
Well,
have happen.
But also, like he's talking about, we will literally have 1st and 10, and we get 6 to 8 yards, and so now it's 2nd and 4, 2nd and 2, and we're running plays that are losing 2 to 4 yards.
Yeah.
And then now it's 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7. You really didn't do yourself any good on you're costing yourself yards on 2nd down.
And that's
you're
where
not
the-
you're never gonna be in rhythm. You're not gonna be on schedule by
Right.
losing yardage on
Well, that's
2nd down.
that's just another way of saying the run game wasn't working, and it disturbs everything else you're trying to do. It's disruptive to the flow of your entire offense. And if scripted or not, you can't execute in any fashion that's normal to progress down the field if you're moving backwards consistently on 2nd down. That just can't happen. So I mean, I don't think anyone's going to disagree. The run game has got to get better than where it is for us to continue to compete. There's two things that I think have to happen. That one is the run game has to get there, and two, we've got to get on the other side of the interception fumble game. And part of that is just catch interceptions that land in your hands.
Yeah.
And that was a problem. I'm going to say
Peyton
that
Bowen dropped one, but he also took one extra step to the left. And Jackson Arnold's pass was bad, and it was behind the receiver.
right.
And I mean,
If the pass
that's
is-
what if the pass was on target, he wouldn't have even had a chance at it because it was good. It'd have been way further right. But since he threw it behind, Bowen actually had
I don't
a
know.
chance
I
to get 2 hands on it.
I think Bowen
I think-
overran it thinking he was going to get it out early.
Yeah.
And then Bowen outran into bad position. But
Yeah.
but the point was Arnold being slow decision maker
Yeah.
almost worked out for him. But what's interesting, they had a definite game plan on how they wanted to attack our defense. And they kept on throwing, getting 1-on-1 on the wide side and basically throwing jump balls. When they were inside the 5, they basically just said we're gonna throw a 30-yard 1-on-1 go route to the sidelines.
And get the flag.
And get the flag.
Yeah.
We didn't look like we knew exactly where we thought we could attack them. But it was funny that in the first half, we had some success. And in the last, the drive we score to retake the
We're down by
lead,
1.
it's like when our backs get against the wall, it's like, okay, now let's stop doing all the funny stuff and let's just really this
Yeah.
is what we want to do. We want to hit this guy
Yeah, I saw
right
that
here.
too. And they very much could work the middle of the field and did a great job with that. Mateer, some of his slings, some of them are just awesome. Some of them are just a little off target, and I don't know exactly what it is. Maybe if I sat in the end zone, I could tell. But
Yes, you could.
he's just not. I can't tell if it's a lack of touch, if it's a sidearm thing or what he's doing. But we had success in those instances. Now, we had 2 successful passes that were called back for picks.
Right.
That just I want to get into officiating at some point because officiating tonight was just really, really weird. The inconsistencies, and they seem to go against us much more often than not.
Other than the opening touchdown that they called back for Auburn.
I don't know if that's
We're gonna have
favorable,
to, since we were all there and we saw the replay on the thing. I think he caught it,
right?
and then
Barely saw the replay. They
as
stopped
he-
it short every time.
as he rolled over, I think the ball flew out as he was laying on top of the defender. So I don't think he was down because his butt didn't hit.
But they ruled it
You think-
incomplete.
You think his ankle? They didn't roll incomplete.
Yeah, they rolled-
Yeah, after they came back.
After they came back, because they didn't rule that they just said there was no catch.
Right.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I think he didn't catch the ball, and had he caught the ball, I think he was down.
I don't think he was down.
That's what I think I
I
saw.
think it was
I agree.
defender.
unless the only way he was down is his right leg, his shin or his knee hit. If his shin or knee does not hit, which I didn't see, I think you're right. He rolled over the defender.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's one we'll have to watch the replay of.
Yeah, but other than that, it sounds like now, as we've looked at it, the complaints are wrong. The trick play for our touchdown is a legitimate play. I think
Yeah, he
that
was inside the numbers.
yeah, you're inside the numbers when you break. It's fine. I think that we get called for a horse collar when he's got the jersey. They do the exact same thing to us, and they don't call it.
Yeah, I don't think either
hands
one
to
of the
the
first callers.
right, and hands to the face, pass interference on us. They do the exact same thing. They don't call it. We get the two pick play calls, which are just rubs, and he's not even looking at the guy. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Then there was the pass interference where the ball's uncatchable out of bounds, and I didn't. Maybe I'm wrong. From what I saw, I didn't even see him touching.
He grabbed
tugged the shoulder.
he grabbed
Did
his
he?
shoulder, the jersey
Okay.
on his shoulder right when he was trying to make his turn
Okay.
to look back for the ball. But I mean, it landed a yard and a half out of bounds.
Oh, it
But an earlier pass interference, their receivers clearly pulling him with one hand
Mhm.
Yeah.
as we're pulling him back. It was
And
it
that
was
was in the end,
interesting.
that was in the end zone also.
right. That was in the end
Yeah,
zone.
the wide receiver had Guillory, his left hand, which when you watch it from the one angle, you think Guillory's holding him.
Right.
When you see from behind, literally he's got his left hand. He can't raise his left hand because he
Right.
grabbed Guillory's shoulder pad.
Right.
And then he's reaching up like
Yeah.
this, like, oh, I can't get to the ball with my other
Right.
hand because
Right,
he's
because I'm
got a-
grabbing this guy.
Right.
Right. He was pulling Guillory into him.
Yes.
I agree.
So I thought though that was
And
pretty
both of them gave him the
frustrating.
ball on the two.
Yeah, and they got those breaks. We didn't catch our
Well,
interceptions.
They got they got another break when it was what was it like 4th and 1 or
It was
2?
4th and 1. They run a play and they were down on the south end. I don't know, like 6 yard line or something
Right.
like that. They start the play. Jackson hands it off to the running back. The running back sprints to the right. We've got 3 defenders there that are either going to tackle him or push him out of bounds.
Mhm.
And
For a
then
loss. For a loss.
for a loss on 4th and 1, he was going to lose probably 5 yards, which gives us the turnover. And instead, you see the line judge from the opposite side of the field come running in, claiming that he called a false start before the play happened, which I don't think he did.
No, I don't think
And they
so.
showed they had the sky cam over it, and I saw it on the replay, and it looked like maybe the left guard flinched a millisecond before the snap.
Mm.
And I don't know how the guy on the other side of the field.
You almost never see that
Yeah.
guy call that call.
And
It's
so
not his face.
I mean, it's a lot. He was the lineman, but the line judge.
Oh, he was the line judge?
Yeah, it was the
Oh,
line judge,
going
but
to back judge. Okay.
they were on, I think, the right hash, and he's on the far left sideline. I don't know, but he didn't call it until it looked like the play was already happened to where they're going to get
It's
stuck.
collapsing.
So then
I
that
didn't
drops into
understand
the
that
4th
either.
and 6, and then that's when they get the
Right.
pass interference and they get the go ahead touchdown.
Hands to the pass interference, roughing the passer combo play when we rough Arnold and get called for pass interference. They get on the 2 because they decline the roughing. The next series, they do the exact same thing, hit Mateer in the head,
Yep.
and they didn't call it.
There was one egregious double holding on Auburn where
There was,
Arnold was
yeah,
running to
there
the
were
right,
several.
Yeah.
and who was it? I think it was
97.
Marvin
Jones.
Jones Jr.
Marvin,
Yeah.
That
yeah.
He's literally got him. The offensive lineman's got him just completely
Yeah.
wrangled around the neck.
Yeah.
Pulling him down, tackling
And his arms are flailing like
his arms are
it's
flailing,
clearly
and then Arnold gets about 2 feet further right, and then the right guard is holding the shoulder pad of, I think, Jackson, maybe trying to break himself free to go make the tackle.
It was
Mhm.
Stone.
It was Stone, and then he goes and he just gets the first down.
Yeah, so several things like that. They got bailed out by 2 situations. One was the false start where we had totally sniffed it out and we were going to stop them on 4th down.
4th and 1, yeah.
And then later when it goes to the 2-minute warning, they 100% are running the play
Yeah.
and it was going to be completely shut down, but
Yeah.
they get a bonus of they apparently
They
hiked the ball at the
passed,
2.
He threw it out of bounds.
Yeah, they're like, nope, wait, it was a 2-minute warning.
Yeah. So
Auburn was saved by Arnold not knowing how to watch the clock.
yeah, right, exactly.
So on top of just being not good at their jobs, they also late at throwing the
Yeah,
flags
yeah.
or
They-
stopping play.
So very
when they're supposed to.
frustrating.
They did get one right where Auburn lined up illegal formation. They had too many guys. One guy was covered. He went out for a route.
And they
And
waved it
they
off.
waved it off because Arnold ran the ball. And so he didn't throw it.
I don't think
Which-
that's how the rules work.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I wish he would have thrown it, but But there was a few like that where,
So,
and
Yeah.
as focusing back on us, I thought that one thing that I didn't like was the transition to third to fourth quarter. We decided to not go for it on 4th and 2. And I thought the right call is to go for it. There's 15 minutes left in the game. You're deep in their territory. So if you don't get it, your defense can make the stop and get it done. Instead, we kick a field goal, which basically, and we're only going up by 6 at that point. And Brent's basically saying, I want to put this on my defense. Well, you're putting it on your defense in a more difficult position versus
From the
going for
25.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Versus go for it and try to, if you don't get it, then they're on the
But you're still putting on your
13-yard line.
defense on like the 5, it was.
Right.
Was that?
So what-
10 or
Maybe
something like that?
It
we
was
were on like the 6.
Yeah.
You were?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
We were
like
on,
4th
the
and 2.
6 or 7.
They were
We
inside the
were,
10.
we were down there. Now, what you're
I
thinking, what you're saying if you're Brent,
You
I
have
mean,
to see how far the field
what
goal
you have
is.
to believe is what he's saying is, if we get up by more than a field goal, they're not gonna drive inside of a field goal
Right.
on us and score.
But
and
then
yet they
did.
drove the
Yet
length
they
of the
did.
field and scored a
Yeah, they did.
touchdown.
But
Penalties, yeah.
if
With
you,
penalties.
if you go for it and don't get it, then Jackson Arnold, or like their run in the third quarter where they break 1 or 2 tackles
And then get a field goal.
and then they get in a field goal and they tie.
Yeah.
So you're saying, I think our defense can hold them out of the end
Well,
zone.
they tie, but you have a whole quarter to go down and score
That's
yourself.
true.
I could see either way.
If it's if it's 5 minutes to go in the game, you kick the field goal.
So
It's
I think I
15
would have gone
minutes to
for
go
it,
in the
but
game.
I don't hate that they didn't go.
I don't hate it, but I don't
Yeah.
like it.
I
well,
could-
look at our rushing.
I think it's a mistake.
So-
I think
There's
here's
probably one of those stupid charts that you analytic guys are being
I
like,
bet the
oh, it
chart-
tells me we need to do this because this
Exactly.
stupid ass chart.
I mean,
It definitely says
but-
that.
it
but-
definitely says that.
But the
It's the right-
way
it's the right
that
move.
they had moved the ball
Right.
the majority of the game, up 6, feels like
You won.
we can
It's
Outside of
here's my
couple
criticism
40-yard
of that, and
bombs.
here's why the chart is right. If the chart agrees with me. Anything can happen. And if you're just one bad play away
Right.
from a pick 6, a scoop and score, or whatever. So
I
What
have,
about a
I
Michigan,
have
what
a-
about a Michigan 75-yard run?
I have
That
a
too.
lot of.
So what I don't like is, what I think's happening is Brent loves his defense, believes in his defense, and thinks that his defense is always going to come through. I think he wants to have a defense that can make that stop and that he can depend on to be up by 6 and win. That's not the right strategy. The right strategy is what puts you in the best position to win, not what you want to have happen.
Does it tell his players though? Does it give them the confidence of like, this is your team? The defense is the heart of this football
I don't
team.
care about their confidence. I don't care about their feelings. I care about winning football games.
So
And I want it to be the
Are you
right
taking away
percentage.
McNair's confidence by saying, I don't think you can pick this 4th and
There
2
you go.
up?
No, because I don't
There
think
you go.
Mateer thinks like that.
But only the defense does.
but no, okay, so one is a lot of scar tissue, watching OU football for a long time, a lot of
Fresh wounds, baby. They aren't.
Lot
it
of-
hasn't scarred over yet.
fumbled snaps on punts, a lot of bad officiating. One possession games don't make me happy. So I'm probably saying go for it because I want to get a touchdown and put us up by 2 scores.
That's my thinking.
So I can see that. I do think though, as much as I think if you go for it, you're also signaling to your defense, hey, if we don't pick this up, I know that you're going to stop them here inside the 6.
And that's when you're going to
Or
get
the
your
12.
safety.
Right. But on the flip side of it, maybe he's thinking we've had him inside the 3-yard line 2 other times this game,
But one time they drove the field
and they hit big
96
passes out of
yards.
us.
Yeah. It could be. He could be right.
I mean, it might be a signal that he's not confident in either side of the ball. I'm not confident offense can pick it up, and I'm not confident if we give this up, you
Yeah.
guys can't hold him down on this end.
Well, give him some praise. I thought that they used timeouts very effectively today and caused Auburn to use timeouts.
Several.
You know, that was really
I mean,
good.
the fans caused Auburn to use timeouts several times.
The trick lineup
I think you're right.
or the trick,
The ninja.
the ninja twice.
Yeah.
Did they run it twice?
Yep.
At least.
Lined up
That
in
definitely
3
caused
times.
a timeout.
Yeah.
There in the 4th quarter.
Yeah. And I think actually it would have been really
The
effective.
first
in
ninja,
that.
Mateer got 7-8 yards.
Yeah.
Scraping it.
And I think the next
Second
one,
ninja, they called a timeout.
I think
Yeah.
he was going to be even better. That the way they were lined up against it, it looked like, I mean, for one, he can just run free and get again 7 yards like it's standing still.
I mean, I don't know that you can because we only have 32 yards.
I disagree though a little bit with using the timeouts well. At the end of the game, when we score as quick as we scored, and you made the comment, you don't want to score a little bit too quick. Because
Right.
they get the ball back, they drive 4 minutes down and score a touchdown. You're only getting the ball back with about 20 seconds. So there was a time in their possession, we might have called a timeout.
And we didn't,
And we didn't.
Yeah.
That would have saved it was, right before the 2 minute timeout.
right?
It was like, 20 some seconds above
Good
it. We
point.
might have called a timeout there,
That's a good point.
make them run their third down play.
I'll tell you
So
something
we
that,
have a time
that,
to score.
that frustrated me. And again, this is scar tissue from Grinch days. So we're getting good stops on them on the ending drive the drive that ends with the safety. But it's clear, one, at the 2 minute warning, which is, I think, second down, that they've gotten to a point where they've got to go for it. So it's clearly 4 down territory, 3 downs to go.
Yep, second down
And
20.
Every time they celebrate way too much. David Stone, among others, is down there celebrating. They ran on the 3rd down, they ran 4 guys deep into the end zone, all the way to the back of the end zone, like they were taunting the Auburn fans. And they had to get back into position. They almost didn't get into position on 3rd down. On 4th down, they were a little quicker to get there.
Are the
But-
kids crossing through your lawn too?
Well, I just like it's
They
real
could have,
cute
they
until
could
they
have
don't
snapped
get
it
the
and you've been off.
and you've
you have
been
3 guys
offside.
offside.
We had, Arnold could have snapped it when we
And
had
yes,
a
no,
guy leave
let's make this podcast about those kids.
But so let's talk about these crazy kids. I will say
The rock and roll music,
the rock and roll music and
long
And their
hair.
age
when we
track?
score our touchdown to go up by 5 or go up by 4, I guess, or whatever we went up by.
Well, when we're
Down by
gonna go-
1,
2.
went up by 5.
Yeah, yeah.
22
Went up
to
by 5.
16.
So it went up by 5.
Right? No,
We all run into the tunnel by Boomer and Sooner and are celebrating.
When we got to get
And
out
we're
into
all
a
screaming,
two-point
we're going for
conversion.
2.
Yeah,
And by the time we get out there, the play clock's already ran down some. And now we're figuring out what we're doing. It's like our offense didn't realize, hey, we're not bringing the kick team out here. We got to actually do a 2-point conversion.
I
play.
did see the officials reset
they
the
reset
play
it.
clock
Yeah.
multiple times for
For
Auburn
us.
Yeah.
when they were going
Oh,
to kick the
for
extra
them?
point.
Yeah.
They reset it for us on that one, on the 2-point, I think.
What about the one where we stopped Auburn? I don't remember what down it was, and the whole Auburn team went to the sideline,
It-
and then we went to our sideline, and they didn't start the play clock. Like
right.
they set the ball.
It was a delay of game.
Yeah,
They
they just got to delay a game.
It was like Auburn just got a delay game. They went over like it was a timeout.
for
Their
like
whole
a
team
minute and a
comes
half,
out.
and the refs place the ball, and the refs like, hey, you guys need to come over. The ball's placed. You should start the thing,
Yes.
and then they have to rush over to get set up. You don't give them a minute to
I
come
agree.
get back in their formation.
That
and
one
get
frustrated
set.
me,
That was
and-
BS.
And very similarly, when they had the 2 players, and I did not keep track to see if they did come back in the game, but the 2 players who went down with the same left knee
I think
injury,
they ran into each other on that play.
and maybe they
trying to
did.
make a tackle.
Maybe they did.
collided.
I'm not, so
I didn't like the fact that we were booing. I didn't boo.
I didn't.
I
boo.
saw a lot of people booing that the 2 players.
Well,
were
that's the
both
problem
down.
with football
But I-
today, because we
yeah.
won't fix the problem.
They ran into each other,
Yeah, that
and I
was
think
leg-
they were both.
That was a legit injury, I think.
One
No,
of,
I think it
one of
probably
them
was
got
too,
up
but that's
and
not
went
what
out
I'm getting-
fine. The other
that's
guy
not what I'm
limped
getting
off.
at. So what the rule should still be, because we don't know, and we're gonna just trust him, fine. You cannot come in, here's what I think it should be. You either cannot come back in for the series, or you have to burn a timeout, or you have to take a delay game penalty. Which do you want?
Yeah.
And now I have a friend who says, no, we gotta get a handle on this. 3rd strike and you're going to a foreign country.
Alcatraz.
Yeah, or yeah.
Yeah. There was weather moving in. Hey, don't be down there injured. We got to get this
I was
going.
thinking, as I saw, as I looked out past y'all to the west and saw the storms of what it looked like.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, well, maybe the TV timeouts, they'll just cut,
Cut him out.
1 or 2 TV
Right.
They
timeouts
kept
out.
voting everyone out.
Oh, yeah. And I was
So
thinking,
here,
we're going to get down to like 3 minutes left in this game, and we're going to get a lightning delay or some bullshit.
what I
And we're going
feared
to sit here for
was
an hour and a half.
we
to
were
finish
going to be
4
on our
minutes.
drive and with our momentum trying to get into the end zone,
Afterward.
and they call
Yeah.
the lightning delay, and it disrupts everything, which relates to the point I was really making with the 2 injured guys. Then they gave a full TV timeout after that,
Right.
which gave them a chance defensively to completely regroup when they were really on their heels. I
Yeah.
really didn't like that. There's something wrong about that. They shouldn't do
Hey,
that to disrupt.
I did like the
flow of play.
timeout we called before the safety kick. You know,
Yes.
after the safety when they
Yes.
went to kick.
Yes.
Yes.
that was-
Yes, I thought,
That
yeah.
was a
Well, our
perfect-
guys were obviously confused.
Yeah,
Right.
because they were like,
On their
he's gonna
shift.
punt it, but you know, because he's not using a tee.
Right.
But
They're
he
gonna
can
punt
still,
it, but it's still gonna be an onside kick.
he
And
can
it was
still have an
a great
onside.
onside kick.
It was.
They just touched it 1 yard too early.
So I
And I hope we did a good job of not touching it. I'm afraid I couldn't tell if we knew exactly what to do or if we were
I
still
think we did.
confused.
I think when we saw it spinning, so this is the issue. I don't think our players knew it could be onside.
That's why they called the timeout.
And that's why they call it. But I think their original kick, it looks like the one guy goes right behind the kicker. I think he was going to try to kick it on a line drive to our guys as we're running across the field
And
to cover their guys and bounce off and come back.
I
to
thought
us.
what they should do or we're going to do was do a wild kick that we've talked about before where it's a foot race to it. And they're past our 10 guys, and it's just Satania who has to run up and get it, or our guys backpedaling, and they recover the ball like on the 30-yard line or something. Is what I feared.
But they definitely had us when they ran. Our guys were full sprint coming over.
Yeah,
And
not thinking about it all what they needed to be doing.
or thinking, where's the ball
They
going to go?
knew it was an onside. Like they were lined up for.
Well, I mean, we
onside.
went out with our hands
Yeah,
team,
yeah.
so we knew. But I don't know if they knew there was still the 10 yards.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think we called timeout, did a good job to say, no, they're going to have to take half this team on this side.
Yeah, we're kicking from the
So
20.
move over
Yeah,
here.
you can't move all their guys off on one
Right.
side.
They have to
Right.
be on the same side. So
Yeah.
you guys can line up like we regularly do. And if it doesn't go 10 yards, don't even go for it. And when it spun, sort of did the fish hook, we all stopped.
Yeah.
So that was good. That was good execution. A lot more confidence in elements of the game that we haven't seen in the last 4 years. That I take away with a lot of confidence.
I mean,
let's talk about-
4 games in.
Yeah, I want to transition to this, but I think you're getting at
Like he's transitioning.
young
4
Gary.
games in though, have we seen game management improved
I think so.
significantly?
I think so.
Over
Like,
last year?
Yes,
Yeah.
or any
Any year.
any Brent
I mean,
Venables
the
year.
10-yard or 10-minute drive against Michigan by itself
Yeah.
was an improvement.
But
Yeah.
just in like the whole scheme though,
I think so.
of
Yeah.
all of it.
Definitely.
It's hard
Kevin Wilson.
to say.
Could
Yeah,
be a lot of
is
it.
it? Is it
Yeah.
Kevin Wilson?
And maybe it is.
I don't think it's John Arbuckle because I don't think he's creative at all. And we talked about this in the midweek pod about, we faced 3 teams. We haven't shown anything, blah, blah. All we saw today were crossing routes. We never threw the ball deep. The couple times there were multiple times
Yeah, and I'm
the Panic
concerned
was
about
actually
that.
open about 20,
Yes, he missed
20 to
Panic
30 yards
several
down the
times.
field, and he's throwing to like 10-yard guy.
Yeah, which is weird because Kanik appears to be his outlet guy, but maybe that's all he is.
And the
for
one he
him.
did throw to Kanik was over linebacker under a safety was a phenomenal ball.
It was.
When we were going, that was the third quarter, I guess.
Yeah.
We were going south. That was, I mean, you couldn't have placed a better ball.
We
than
almost
that.
did the same ball in
why-
the fourth quarter.
Why is that? Why are we not doing that more often?
Yeah, I wish I want one of those 2 quarterback coaches to say, "Hey, look for Kanik. He's running free." That
It was
that needs to
wild.
happen.
I mean, it was like when I went to Navy last year and I saw Carrion just wide open, and I think we threw him 5 or 6 times, but they could have thrown to him 20.
right?
Today, they definitely could have thrown to Kanik at least 4 more times.
Yes,
That he was
big
open
games. Big
for
games.
in between 15 and 30 yards.
Yeah,
And it seems like he either is, and he does throw the ball over the middle of the field, unlike Arnold and Gabriel. Gabriel
right. Never.
we always complain because he never threw it over the middle.
Yeah.
Mateer does some, but there's still instances where we're looking out there, and especially from the end zone where you can see everything develop perfectly.
Sure.
You see like, man, Kanik is open. He's got 8 yards on the linebacker, and the safety's 10 yards past him.
Yeah.
And instead, he's throwing a crossing route to a guy for 6 yards.
Right.
Let's roll back the clock a little bit though. So Gabriel didn't throw over the middle for us.
Right.
Or he sailed it every time.
But in Oregon, he did actually throw it over the middle quite a bit. So now I sort of bring that. Do you think we're coaching our players? Hey, that's a dangerous throw. Like we don't want to give up an interception over the middle. So
Tip balls and stuff.
tip
like
balls and stuff like that.
I've
But
wondered about that.
so let's look to the sidelines first.
Yeah, but the problem is you're giving up. I mean, how wide is the football field? 51
Well, we're
yards,
not saying it.
something like
I don't
that?
think you're saying it's a good idea.
No, I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
a good idea. I'm
But-
saying I'm
but
wondering
for them, if you're only going to focus on 8 yards this way and 8 yards that way, and leave the other 30+ yards in the
I don't-
middle untouched, that's not a play. You
I don't think
can't
that
play football that way.
I don't think I think you scan either left to right or right to left.
Right.
On pre-snap.
I don't. Yeah,
I think
pre-snap.
I think the first read is one of your receivers, either left or right, and your second read is a tight end or someone coming over the middle.
Right.
But when everything's a crossing.
what's
right,
interesting-
I don't
So
think
is it
left and right
because,
works.
so is it because our offensive line has been so poor that we have not been able to get to that middle read? And Mateer's good enough that he actually can get to the middle.
He had some happy feet though, and he had some quick eyes today. But he did, but I don't know, because I would think he sets in, he reads the defense and he tries to guess what are they in. They had a lot of single high in the second quarter.
They were daring us to throw the ball deep.
They were daring us to throw the ball deep.
Never would.
And so I would think you would read it and you would look and you would say, okay, I think this side's going to be covered, so I'm going left side to your two wide receivers, and you go whatever the order is, 1, 2, and you figure out who you're passing to. But it does seem like we spent a lot. He was making a lot of reads as he went through. I don't know.
And it's been a good feature of him, but today, and he didn't have a lot of time because the line was not doing their job. He had to scramble a lot.
Yeah.
So that was rough.
That was some of the reasons he missed Canick, is when he was having to roll out a little bit and keep his eyes downfield, and he was more worried about at least just not taking a loss. So he was looking at the guy that was 7 or 8 yards instead of seeing the over the top 35 yards.
Right. So I would ask you on a Mateer and Arnold comparison from 1 to 100, where would you put Arnold and where would you put
Last year, Arnold?
no this year
Today,
Arnold?
Uh,
Or just overall Arnold, just overall Arnold.
I mean, out of 100,
Out of 100.
man, that's a lot of numbers.
Well, all the video games do a 99 rating.
I would say
they get up there.
After this part of the season,
Yeah.
I would say Mateer's at like a 75 and Arnold's probably a 60.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree with that. But I think they had a much better game plan to hide Arnold's weakness.
Hugh
Again,
Freeze is very good.
I think they
for 200 and something yards.
right. I think they had
Way better today.
either we're throwing a jump ball because it's like a punt, or we're giving him one read or maybe two reads, and then he is just tucking it and running.
Well, I think once they figured out that Guillory was susceptible to not covering the deep ball as well, and
Right.
that receiver had probably 4 or 5 inches on him.
At least
And that guy's he's their best receiver, I think, right?
Coleman and
What, number 8?
yeah,
I mean,
all the receivers are
He-
really good.
he was having a field day, and it wasn't just jump balls. He was just, and there were times when Guillory had good coverage, but it was literally
Yeah.
Arnold put it perfectly
Yes.
in stride with the
Yeah.
receiver to where he caught it, and then Guillory was making the tackle.
But I agree. I think Mateer is better, but I think Hugh Freeze did a much better job of hiding the weaknesses of his
Yeah.
quarterback.
Yeah, I think, I mean, he basically only had 3 types of throws.
Yep.
It was a comeback, the button hook over the middle, out in the flats, and the 50-50 ball deep. I mean,
Exactly.
they didn't make him do
Mhm.
That's exactly right.
anything other than that.
I don't
So-
think you call that a 50-50 ball when he's throwing it on when the receiver's just running a go route and you throw it over. A 50-50 ball is you're letting him come back and trying to catch it over the defender.
But, I mean,
Arnold was throwing
it's
40 yards in the
it's a
air.
50-50 ball
over
because
the
there's
top.
only 2 people there, and there's 1 football.
I think 50-50 balls like when
Both have a
OSU
chance.
was throwing it and the receiver would turn around and then just jump up when the defender would either run into him or the defender would turn around and he's catching.
But
it
I think it's more, I'll agree. I think it's more 50-50 because Arnold wasn't reading if a safety was coming over either.
Well, we didn't have safeties.
Right. We didn't have the safeties
Which
coming over,
was-
but he was just throwing
In the
that
fourth
ball
quarter, I couldn't
before.
believe I would see Peyton Bowen out there and the one-on-one over here. And I'm thinking, why isn't Peyton rolling over to
Right.
be over the top coverage?
Mhm.
And we just weren't doing it. And even the final drive that ended in a
I think
safety,
we were worried about.
I'm shocked that they didn't just try to throw it either just to get a penalty,
Right.
or if he does lob it over the top and he catches it, they might have had a 95-yard touchdown to win the game.
Right.
Right. I mean, and the only reason it's not 50-50 a little bit too is you have a pass interference option.
Yeah.
But I agree. When it was second and like 30 or whatever, 25, 30, you knew they had 4 downs to get it. I was surprised they didn't throw some long ball
Yeah.
trying to get a
Like
pass
just-
interference.
And now that might be Jackson Arnold. Hugh Freeze
Right.
might be saying, release the football. And he's like, why won't this guy throw the ball? Just
Yeah.
throw the ball. And he holds it, he gets sacked, he holds it, he gets rushed, he holds it, he gets a safety that wins us the
All
game.
right, let's talk defense.
So, all right. Talk how awesome our defense is. The fact that we were basically just rushing 4 and we're dominating a very good offensive line. We did a great job.
Good call,
today.
bad call. We did a lot of only 3 down and had a sort of roamer coming or
Mhm.
moving around in the first half.
I think it was a good call until you didn't adjust quickly enough to realize they weren't going to run, or maybe they would think, well, they're only not running and not running Arnold because we're doing this. And so if we give this up, they're going to switch back to running and they'll nickel and dime us on the run. So I don't know it frustrated me a little bit because we were putting our guys on an island, and that made it where they did have success, that if they take enough shots at it, they're going to have success and burn you, and they did.
It did. I mean, it looked like to me sort of what you all had talked on the midweek a little bit of. You almost had two guys could rush. One guy was going to rush and one guy was going to spy
Right.
Arnold.
Mhm.
And we were trying to not let him know which one was coming because we only had three guys down and we had the two other guys moving around.
That was, and I'm glad
And
they
we
listened to
put
the pod.
we put Jones and Thomas in the second half many times on the same exact side,
Yeah.
lined up on top of each other.
Yeah, you could see our Mason kind of, he would start off on the left and he'd look around and he's like, oh, I'm gonna move to right. And then they would double up on the right and they would have two ground linemen on the left. And it was effective because as soon as our Mason got in the game, he got a sack on the second.
So what do we
play.
think about that?
And he
So-
also dropped deep in the last drive, though he lined up like that and went deep in the
Deep,
middle and
yeah.
in the for coverage.
And we also I talked about having 3 D tackles
Mhm.
and
It's not a
one
you, it's a team thing.
and one
This is a team
defensive
thing.
end. And I
Good
don't,
for him.
I'd have to watch the tape to see if they did that at all. Because a lot of times I remember, Wine and Marvin Jones Jr. being in there. I saw Danny Okoye got some play today. I don't
Mhm.
know how many snaps. I haven't seen the report on that yet, but
Well,
you can't complain about defensive line.
Not at all.
They
I-
had 10 sacks.
10 sacks.
When does that ever happen?
And when you had to have it,
Yeah.
well, last time I've seen Jackson Arnold sack 10 times. So, both ways. I don't think it was to our net benefit that our Mason was out the first half, but my hope was that he'd come in with fresh legs and be disruptive, and he sure looked like he was. He came in like a man on fire,
Yeah.
and he just blew it up.
Well, on the safety, he takes on his right tackle
Hmm.
and the running back, and he essentially bulls over the right tackle, swim moves the running back, and then jumps on Arnold. And
And when he makes
be a bait.
early in the first half, first drive, I think when he makes
second play
second play,
yeah.
when he becomes a backpack
Yeah.
for Dora the Explorer Arnold.
It kind of reminded me
That
of
was
that
awesome.
picture of Tommy Harris against Bama.
Yes.
Swallowing
Mhm.
Brody Croyle,
Mhm.
but that was from the front.
Right,
This
right.
one is just.
I was surprised Arnold held on to that ball.
Oh, me too.
Well, when I watched replay, I was like, why didn't he swipe that?
He
He
had
still
it.
had it here.
Yeah, he had it
He
tight.
wasn't reared back.
He swim moved as much as he could, but
Yeah.
he just Arnold was lucky.
Turnovers.
Arnold was totally lucky.
We're still 0 turnovers. I count the safeties a turnover.
We
They
could,
didn't.
They had
count
a
it
turnover
as-
on downs
we could be
Yeah, that
last in
doesn't
the
count
country.
either.
when their punter
And then
Does the
decided to
safety
go
not
crazy.
count as a turnover?
It didn't on the board. It said 1-0 at the end of the game.
Did it on the box?
I
Somebody
don't
check
know.
the box score.
1-0.
I think
So-
a safety should count as a turnover.
Absolutely, it
Because-
should. It results in points
It results in you getting the ball back.
and getting the ball back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's both.
Yeah.
It's more than just a fumble. It's more than
Even
just an
still,
interception.
Yeah.
there needs to be legitimate turnovers created.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna spin
They
it.
dropped 2
Well,
interceptions.
we dropped 2 interceptions, and those 2 interceptions, one of them definitely is a pick six. The other is, if it's not a pick six, it's a pick setting up six.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to argue we weren't far off from something like my score. With those 2 things go a different way, we're beating that team, and we're not maybe even having that conversation about rushing, because who knows we may be able to rush the ball in a way that they can't.
So we're close.
We're
This is
close,
Lincoln Riley
baby.
all over again.
No, well, we're close because the ball's in our hands. You just got to catch it. But with all that said, we have not had a turnover, and yet this is the first game. I mean, we were challenged in the Michigan game. We were obviously challenged because we took our first trailing points in this game. But we've won every game. We're 4-0 with no turnovers created and giving turnovers in every one of those games.
There's no Tulane on this schedule though, like that.
Right, well, yeah.
What's the
I'm
probability,
talking about this year.
math guys, that
One
we're
hundred.
dudes? Like we start off with 0, but we finish the year with 12 or
There's
15.
a lot of people go bankrupt thinking that.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times is it going to hit red when it's spinning? It's
Yeah.
gotta hit black at some point,
But
right?
those are independent events. And actually, no, because the wheel actually might be lopsided and
When
guys
I-
make millions of
When there's
dollars.
zero and double
When
zero.
I play roulette, and if it hits green, I just get it and walk away from the table. So I don't
So
know,
I-
I don't know where we're at on this.
But it's
So
not-
I think, but hold on. I do think there is a little bit of a problem with this when your defense is as good as ours, or our defensive line is as good as ours. You definitely reduce your chances for turnovers because teams scheme you to tell the quarterback, throw it quick. Don't,
Don't hold
they're
on
not,
to it
don't hold it on,
late.
don't hold on to it.
Yeah, but if you throw it quickly and you're breaking on routes, then you should have picks.
Right, if you're breaking on routes, but I mean, but they're
But
not.
the
they're still
opportunities
throwing-
from a
Quarterback's rush, he
We've
throws
gone
it
through that.
high and it tips off a receiver.
He
You
he
would
threw
think
it.
maybe a safety's
He threw it
back,
quickly today
you know,
on both of
catch a
those.
tip ball.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
he did.
Those are both bad throws.
He
I,
And
did,
he
but,
didn't have to pay for
but
it.
in the long run, you're not throwing the ball. What you're saying is you're not holding on to the ball, look, and either you're getting a sack that results in a fumble, or you're throwing an interception on like a deep post or something because you don't have enough
Right.
time for any of that to set up.
there's a lot of times where Brent Venables he rolls the coverage. He's rolling the safety from this side to that, or he's dropping deep. And that's relying on the quarterback holding the ball as our guys run into position and intercept it. If you throw it as they're moving, you're going to have a bunch of bad throws, but you're also not going to have a bunch of interceptions.
I mean, I don't take it as a negative that we haven't had a turnover.
I do.
You don't think that is a negative?
No. Like,
Just
Because
because
it's
of one
random.
poor
Because it's
game?
random.
it's largely random. It is. It's largely random. I mean, so how bad is our defense then that we haven't created turnovers in your mind?
It's
Like, what
not,
are we doing wrong?
not enough chaos in the
I think
back.
there's
But 10
plenty of
sacks.
chaos.
No, not enough chaos
But
in the
you know what's
in the
crazy?
secondary.
In 10 sacks though, that should probably create a fumble at some point.
Yeah,
like just
Especially with a
just
guy that
randomly.
fumbled it three times.
No,
and
no,
his
I'm not
feet or
gonna,
whatever
I'm
in
not
the
gonna
quarter.
debate the oddity of it.
And Missouri to
It
end the
is
game.
super surprising we haven't had turnovers. But the fact that we haven't and that we're still doing as good as we are is a tribute to how good of a team we actually are.
I do.
And the other point is that it's difficult to get you wait. The other point that you're making me lose my train of thought, they're not getting a lot of possessions. So they're not getting or a lot of snaps.
Their time
And
of
so
possession
that's
killed us.
so that's taking down your opportunities for turnovers right there.
That is true.
Because you got three. I mean, at some
We
point,
get a bunch of three and
outs are
Right.
turnovers.
Yeah,
But we're a hard hitting. My point, we're a hard hitting defense though.
yeah.
That we're not hitting somebody hard enough to jar that ball loose
It's surprising.
is very surprising.
And it's not that we're not doing it right. It's just that it's not happening. I don't know.
Let's see.
More surprising is the turnovers we've had. And I don't think it's in any way alarming, but it's going to cost you two things will cost you a football game. Having turnovers at the wrong time or not getting the turnovers you need to get. You've got to catch balls that are in your hands. It's always been a big thing of mine that you've got to catch gifts. And if you in games like this, it's surprising to win a game when you drop two interceptions the way we did because you just don't get that many opportunities.
Well, I mean, think about last week. LSU played Florida, and Lagway had 5 interceptions.
Yeah.
And LSU only wins 20-10.
Mm-hmm.
Now that probably has more to do with LSU's offense not being as good as everybody thought.
Right.
But to think that I think if we had 5 interceptions in a game, we should be scoring 50 or 60. You know what I mean? But
Where the interceptions happen mattered.
Right.
He threw a couple of them going into the end zone, but yeah, I agree. I mean,
I'm not saying it's like ring the alarm bell, our defense is in trouble, but it's a little concerning that for as fast as our guys are and as hard hitting as they are,
Right.
it's just really odd that we haven't forced
It
a
is
couple
super
of
odd.
us.
It's super odd. And when it comes, not that we're due, but there is a regression to the mean, and that is not to say you're due, but what you're saying is an oddity, and I'm agreeing, that oddity won't continue forever, right? And so when we start getting these turnovers, that's going to be, and now hopefully it's against the Texas, not against the Kent State.
Well, yeah, what happens?
That's going to be,
What happens through Kent State if we still have
unbelievable.
no turnovers after Kent State?
that'll be shocking as can be. I mean, I don't,
I mean, it's already surprising, but that would be even more shocking.
yeah.
Just the level of athlete difference you would think
Get a
between
different
ours
quad up there
and
is what he's
theirs.
asking.
Between ours and theirs would be the difference in getting turnover, not just
Yeah.
physical specimen
Oh,
we
yeah.
have compared to some of their guys.
For sure. It would be, I mean, you would expect we can rip a ball loose against a Kent
Right.
State unless they're doing something totally safe to try and not have that happen as
I
well.
mean, what game did we watch earlier today? It was Texas Tech and Utah.
Uh-huh.
Tech was punching the ball just left and
Both
right,
teams.
and they've come out and they said that the Texas Tech coach had them watch a video that morning about punching the ball out, and literally in the first quarter, I think they had either 2 or 3 punch out bump.
Now, that may be because he sees something about Utah that's very susceptible to it as well. Now, I tell you what I don't want to do is the Grinch style punching the ball out,
Right.
where you're punching the
Punching
ball
and they're
as
getting
he's
5
running
yards.
down the
Yeah.
field. Yeah, let's not do that.
Right.
So I don't want interceptions and fumbles for their own sake, but I do want us to be in a position to get them.
So talking about turnovers though, their punter getting turnovers, but the punter, whatever the punter was doing when he
Well,
tried to,
skip the snap to him.
they skipped the snap, but you can't fumble it forward on 4th down.
Yeah,
So I don't
he
know.
was trying to throw it.
Right, but even if he throws it out of bounds,
I think he was hoping somebody would see that, like
Yeah.
a tight end
Would
would
turn around.
turn around and they would have magically catch the ball and run for a
Right.
first
That
down.
whole sequence though started with a massive punt from our punter.
Yeah, which was
And fielding it
in-
by a
Yeah.
punt
They scored
returner
it to
over his shoulder.
And if you remember, we
Who-
had a
who
delay.
stands at
We
the
had a delay of
15-yard
game
line?
that was pathetic. That moved us back 5 yards. But you said no. 68's his magic number. He needs more distance.
No.
And sure enough, I mean, that was like a.
But as
somebody
a,
with
as
like
a return
pro
guy,
golfer with
as a return guy,
driver.
right? If you're at the 10 or 15-yard line, if it's going over you, you just let it go.
right.
You don't back up to get to receive
Yeah,
the
he caught
punt.
it on the 2.
What a gift.
Ran in the end zone and then ran back
He
out.
didn't just catch it on the 2. He turned
He really
and
made it.
caught it over the shoulder.
Because it looked like it spiraled.
Yeah.
His punt is a
Yes,
beautiful
He really
downward
made it
spiral.
over his shoulder, caught it, ran into the end zone. Now, what's the rule? If he catches that on like the 3
And runs
And
it
then
runs
in.
in the end zone,
It's a
if
safety.
Yeah.
You
he
tackle-
gets tackled,
it's
it's
a
a
safety.
Yeah,
So he had to come up. My point,
but not on a kickoff because the kickoff was
No, a
if
kickoff
the
was-
momentum
was against
carried you
Michigan where
in,
the
if
guy
the
touched it
on the
on the
kickoff
one,
now,
and then he went in
It
the end
always
zone
been
and they downed it.
right.
Yeah,
It's your
if
forward-
momentum.
it's your forward
momentum.
momentum.
But if
Right.
you turn
Out of the
Yeah.
country.
and willingly do it, it's a safety.
Yeah.
But my point that when we get the turnover on downs there, their defense is ready to come out. It's not like a quick change turnover.
That should count as a turnover too.
It should count as a turnover, but our offense, I think, was preparing. I mean, we're all standing where we usually stand, ready to field where we're going to come on the field where the punt's going to be. So we're unlike a usual quick change, we're sprinting down trying to line this up to get going. It's weird to take a timeout after that, but I don't know if we were actually set with what play we thought we were going to run for them because we
Right.
had no idea we were going to get the ball there.
Right.
I mean, that's a little bit of coaching too. It's
Yeah,
just-
that's true.
We were all
That's true.
surprised what happened.
Well, you think you're on your own 25, not their 25.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And
So
their
take them
and their defense is ready to come out. So it's not like their defense is sitting down and you just got an interception. Their defense is standing up ready to go. So they're out playing defense.
Yeah.
But you think you're coming out on your 25 and now you're sprinting down the field to get on your 25.
Yeah.
And it's almost, if we weren't ready to go, I would have liked to see us, hey, sometimes just let's call timeout here and let's
I
make sure we get
do
it right.
think overall throughout the game, I was surprised at our tempo because it wasn't necessarily catching them off guard.
Right.
So I thought at some point we would just stop doing it,
Right.
and we really didn't. We did pretty much, or we at least lined up in a hurry,
Right.
not necessarily snapped it right away, but there was even then it was still we were snapping the football
Yeah.
at a pretty regular pace.
We did have a drive in the, I want to say 3rd quarter because we were going south that we didn't sub. We ran like 4 or 5 plays in a row without subbing and Auburn wasn't allowed to, Auburn
Right.
couldn't sub. And it seemed like we kept them on their toes on that.
Mhm.
And then we did sub and then they subbed obviously. And then we ran 3 or 4 more plays before we subbed again.
Mm-hmm.
And we were picking up first downs and I was telling Nolan, I was like, we just should not sub
Mm-hmm.
because obviously you're not subbing linemen, you're not
Right.
but leave Blaylock in there,
Right, what does
whatever
it
the
matter?
3 receivers you got,
Yeah.
mechanic, and just put it to them because
Right.
they're not
I
their
agree.
D linemen are getting tired.
I agree.
Maybe this one we can actually run the ball,
Right.
And then know.
So maybe that's
done.
part of our weakness in running the ball is we're not sequencing it right and keeping the pressure on them in the right way.
Maybe
So the greatest thing about when we had DeMarco Murray and back in the day in
as a
Kelvin,
player.
as a player,
Because
is
we got him, he's still our coach.
yeah. That he would line up as running back and we would not sub and he would line up as a wide receiver.
Yeah,
And then he would come back and we didn't have to sub. We kept the same people on. And that's, I mean, maybe that's what we need to do.
Blaylock did
the
that.
highest
some.
scoring
Right.
offense.
He did. He did that a lot today.
Yeah, he did it. He did it. Sub.
And Mateer would either tell him to, come back here and block because of
Yeah.
He
what
would
they
go
were
out in the
showing
slot
up,
and then
or he
come
would go
back.
in the slot.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
He did with Barnes too. There was
Yeah.
a couple times Barnes lined out wide and we had, empty backs and then he motioned him in to come in for protection.
right. So I like a lot of things that I've seen out of our offense. I like the fact that we get the play in and then we can have plenty of time to check into something else. I like the fact that we mini huddle, sugar huddle, whatever it's called. There are definitely some things that I see as weaknesses, not just in production, but also in, like we're talking about, are you subbing personnel incorrectly? Maybe that gets rectified as they get through these figure it out games and we get into a position of, all right, these are our guys. This is what we do. We know what we do, and now we know how to go do it. So you don't have as much of that going forward. Overall, I'd give our offense a pretty high grade with just some notable negatives that are concerning. They don't concern me as much now as they'll concern me if they don't get corrected and get better as we go on through the season. And we're running out of time. We've already had 2 tough games that we got through. You've got a lot of more tough games that stack up against each other. You've got 3 weeks now basically to get it figured out. And you go into Texas with a much more complete game plan about what you're doing offensively and defensively, because defense is not perfect. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I mean, the next 3 weeks are crucial for the remainder of the season, just to get
Healthy?
everything up to speed,
Mhm.
work out the kinks. You get through Michigan, you get through Auburn, and now you get to make some corrections, right? That's fantastic. We could not have asked for more than that,
No.
to be honest with you. And then one more thing from today. There weren't really any late defensive calls. We were a touch late a few times of getting set and ready,
Right.
but that was part of what Mike was talking about. That was almost more celebratory.
Yeah.
Right.
That
Yeah.
wasn't getting the call in.
Exactly,
Like, I think the calls got in today.
Right. No, agreed. And I only one time, and I don't think it was Gentry. I don't remember who it was, but he was looking over frustrated and confused about, I think it was Gentry one time, about what do I do? But he quickly figured it out and got in position in time for everything else to work.
And I was specifically watching the DBs like closest to me because Auburn started stacking,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they would stack and then unstack.
Uh-huh.
And there was which, from a layman, looked like great communication between the corner and the
Right.
safety on who is
Yeah.
whose guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Like while it was stacked,
Right.
they were pointing and
Yes.
saying, this is you, I got this guy. And then they unstacked, and it made it even easier to see whose guy is
And
who.
on the long balls that Arnold overthrew, it wasn't like it was a busted coverage.
just gonna say
He
that.
just outran the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
was
receivers.
covered.
The
just
second
out-
one
there
was stop and go.
there was
which
one-
was just a great route.
There was one. Yeah, there was one of those,
Which
and
we
that was
talked
the
about us
only
doing.
one.
Because we haven't
Yes,
thrown the
we
ball
haven't
deep.
done it yet.
We were talking about, we need to do stop and go with a pump fake or
Yes.
an out and up or whatever you
Yeah.
want to do to create a little bit of separation to
Yeah.
throw the deep ball. And here it is, game 4, and we never run anything like
So
that.
it
Well,
I haven't
really
seen a pump
surprises me it
fake all
hasn't
season
happened.
from a tier.
and Lincoln Riley used to run where you put the guy in motion and you would throw it to him. And then one time you'd pump it to him, but then he would go up on a wheel route and
Yeah.
you'd hit him again.
It's like Mark Andrews versus Texas.
You would just
Yeah,
set it up,
exactly.
you would run it 3 times the one way.
Right.
And then come back a quarter later and
Yeah.
it's perfectly set up because they're gonna bite on.
Yeah,
They're gonna-
I haven't paid enough attention to every single play to watch if
There's not a lot of setup.
Arbuckle sets up future plays.
Right.
Which
It
that might
doesn't
be
seem like
the next.
It doesn't seem like it to me.
Yeah, but
either.
that might be the next
level.
level for him.
And it
Yeah.
might also, I mean, not just
a coach.
for the fact that, well, not just as a
So this
coach.
isn't a job you come in and try to.
No,
get the next
it
level.
may be that we're only at game 4 and he hasn't figured out how to do that. You talk about holding things back. Part of it's holding it back, but part of it's getting the guys on the field to figure out that that's what we're gonna do.
But
You gotta get enough consistency so that matters.
if,
Because if you don't hit those three, you haven't said anything.
But like if you hit Burks over and over and over and
Right,
over
there you
and
go.
out,
Mhm.
like, okay, now we can do it, right?
Yeah,
Like now
yeah.
teams are like, this is an out.
And there are
That
a lot
corner
of
thinks it's an out.
outs that, and some crossing patterns where, and they're successful. We're doing a lot of running for 12 yards. I mean, he probably runs 60 yards to get 12, and that wears on you too. So I'm not saying don't do that, but there you have to consider that a little bit. Now, maybe you're going up against a defensive backfield that's just making things where you're only getting 12 when you in a different situation, you turn it upfield because the opportunity's there and you're turning it into 40 or 50 yards.
if the SEC is better and
Then who?
then everybody else,
Right, they are.
it just means more.
It means a lot more.
And Lincoln Riley ran away because he didn't want to be in it. You could probably make an argument. There's a learning curve for Mateer and Arbuckle on running an offense against the type of athlete that's lined up on the other side of the ball.
That Lincoln
And-
Riley didn't have to face.
That Lincoln Riley didn't have to face. Then maybe he left, if you want to say, oh, he was scared of the SEC, whatever. We like to do it because we hate him. But if he wanted to do it, he realized the little schemy things don't work as well when the guy across the ball is.
It was kind of like Georgia, right? The
Right.
first half of Georgia, they
Yeah.
were just
Dumbfounded.
Yeah, they didn't
Yeah.
know what to do. In the second half, they're like, okay,
Right,
like,
we figured this out.
this out.
We
Yeah.
know exactly where you're going.
So
with
it is
it.
unfair. Anytime we compare to Lincoln Riley, it's a lot unfair because he was going up against not just Big 12 defenses, but the weakest era of Big 12 defenses.
Right. And so I do sort of hope. I mean, Venables talks about you don't want to peak too early. We're trying not to peak too early. It's a lot longer season when it's been, but you hope that we're learning what does and doesn't work against a good athlete.
I mean,
on
we've
the other
played
side.
2 of our 9 ranked opponents.
Exactly.
But to counter that, because he likes to say that, and I'll criticize it the same way I like to criticize Bob Stoops. There's a big difference between winning and losing, which I always thought was nonsense. You don't peak too early because you want to keep getting better, not as if you're holding something back and you're like, well, we could be the best team in football in week 4, but we're going to choose not to be so we can be the best team in football in week 9, as if it's a trade-off. What that really needs to mean is no matter how good we are in week 4, we need to get that much better by week 9 and 10. And so it makes sense from that standpoint, but it's not like a conscious thing that you willingly do.
I mean, I think we're progressively better.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, I think we were better today than we were against Michigan.
I do too.
So, but okay.
And more dynamic.
But you guys ran the poll. When will we know what we are? After Michigan,
Yeah.
after Texas. I think you probably felt better after Michigan. You thought you had the trajectory going better, especially after Temple.
Tell me how I thought.
Well, exactly how you
It
think.
flattened out a little bit.
And it
today.
flattened out. And
Yeah.
it definitely flattened out today.
Definitely flat.
You went in today. There's no way you thought Arnold was going to throw for what he threw for,
Mm-mm.
and we were going to struggle to
Mm-mm.
score, not even get to 30 points today.
No,
I mean, I
I
had us at 27.
Yeah, I didn't think we get third point.
I wasn't that far off, but I also
we've
think
heard that like 5 times.
I don't think Mateer's.
Your trophy
Okay.
is waiting.
Yeah,
I want-
it's like if I'm flipping a coin. Talk about odds. If I'm flipping a coin, and every time you pick tails, and then you're like, "Yeah, I got tails." Remember when I said I got tails?
After we got Mateer and Arbuckle, I watched 2 or 3 games worth of Washington when they played,
right.
or Washington State when they played Washington and Oregon State and one other one I can't remember.
Technically.
But it
You
seems
guys have a
I don't know for sure, but
Yeah, you
Mateer has
the
been
invite?
throwing the balls behind some of the slant routes.
Right.
I'm still wondering if he hasn't caught up to the speed of our receivers.
He's still throwing it behind him.
I agree.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is our guy just getting there too fast? And he going along with the not
Yep.
getting caught up with the SEC defense.
That's a great point.
Is it also our offensive guys? He's not used to having that skilled or that speed of a guy,
Mhm.
which I'm sure there's probably Washington State guys that are playing in Power 4 conferences now.
And I'm not saying
But-
change his mechanics, but his sidearm delivery works a lot better when you don't have the athlete on offense or defensive line that's standing in front of you.
And you got more guys that are open against lesser opponents
Lesser
right.
opponents.
than we have now.
Yeah.
So
So-
that needs to get better.
That needs to get better. That's got to get better.
That's why I grade him a 75. I mean,
Right.
It's a fair
I agree.
grade.
I would
It's a
hope
very
by the end
fair
of the season, I'm thinking, oh, this guy's a
grade.
nine.
So you got
That's
you got
by
him at
even a touch higher than what I would think he is.
so you
And
got
I'm
him.
over.
So let's say that he's at a 75. but your ceiling is going to be high, right? Your ceiling is going to be in the 90s, probably. Not a prediction, but his ceiling.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
What about the
And-
fumble today? Was that on Mateer and was it on Blaylock for not taking the handoff, or was it on Mateer for?
I think it was on the PA guy.
It's on the PA guy.
No, I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
speaking of the sound,
so let's talk
So
about all
I
that.
think, so I think it was, I mean, I'm not just being silly.
Yeah, go.
I think it was the PA guy, because I think the center is calling the blocking scheme.
Well, that wasn't that one. That
No,
the
it
Boomer
was,
Sooner.
it was the fumble.
No, that was the Boomer Sooner. That was the Boomer Sooner where he did the Boomer late.
Right, but I'm saying it's still the
But
PA
how does that
guy's
affect-
talking,
So
but
no,
handing
no,
the ball off.
There were two times the PA guy
Right.
messed up. One of them was the fumble when he does the late stupid let's celebrate first downs and says Boomer. Right. And we all say Sooner as he's fumbling the ball.
right, but I'm saying, I think our center is calling the blocking
And on
scheme.
another one,
But no,
he
I
did-
think on the fumble, he's calling the blocking scheme.
I thought it was one.
but the block
And-
didn't cause a fumble.
Well, the defensive tackle was right there at the point of attack. When he was putting the ball, I think Mateer tried to pull it back because the defensive tackle was on Blaylock's back.
And
Because
that's-
if you look, Blaylock is going into. He's not even trying to get the ball.
Neither read was good. If you handed it, he was getting crushed, and if
Right.
Mateer kept it, he was getting
But
crushed.
Blaylock purposely doesn't take the ball and looks like
Why?
he's going into the pile to either.
Well, I agree.
chip
I'm
block or
saying,
maybe go out.
I'm
and
saying the
pass.
guard doesn't block the defensive tackle.
because
So somebody
we're
screwed
saying
up.
Boomer Sooner, and I'm saying we're saying Sooner right when the handoff is occurring.
If we only could
if
go
you
back in time and
look,
watch it.
you can watch, and the other is when he was getting his down and distance in late,
Yep.
and he's talking right over our snap, and that's when the center is calling out the blocking scheme. That was bad, and I don't like the Boomer Sooner. Let's celebrate first downs anyway, as
Yeah, we're not
many
Kansas State.
long-term listeners know. We're not Kansas State, and
And they also crank the volume.
they
of the
crank
speaker
the
back
volume up a lot, and it gets back to something I said. We were really loud today, but I found myself, and I saw, and I heard with others,
Third, fourth
we
down.
weren't yelling because we're waiting for the music to stop, and then we're yelling, and it's late,
And they're running it right up to the snap.
right up to the snap. They, the band got into a battle of the bands, and they're playing during our snap a couple of times. So our sync is not there. And I think it starts and ends with the stupid music and all of the loud speaker noise.
It was an
that they
11
can't
game
figure
one. It was an 8.5 for Michigan,
Mhm.
and they went up to a 9.5 today.
Yeah.
It's like,
I don't-
get your shit together.
So do you think 9.5 the whole game? Because I thought it was about an 8 to start the game.
And then it got louder.
And it got
I
louder as the
probably put
game
my
went on.
fingers in my ears probably 4 times during some of the music today because it was so
We
loud.
got louder
Well,
and
I'm
louder.
just glad when the game was on the line and we're down by a point, we do the shout, and all the fans really are into that.
Yeah,
That bugs me.
Yeah.
There's so many things so we took a break at some point, and it was a critical break. It was a timeout, and they start the music, and it's the distraction begins where we can't just focus in on what's going on. And I don't think they understand that it's breaking our rhythm of what we're trying to do as
as a crowd.
as a crowd, be
Yeah.
in the same rhythm as the team. And and that's before the MC gets on with his hype crap, and he's yelling at us, or he's even getting his own programming wrong, and he thinks it's going to be one thing, and then it's a dance cam. It's like,
I
we
asked,
don't need
I
this
was
circuit.
sitting next to a gentleman and his wife and 2 kids from Auburn. Awesome guy. He said they flew in Thursday night. They went around town Friday. They loved it. Their whole experience has been great. I asked him, like, hey, do you guys do this same like constant noise in between every play and every segment you have? And his response was just, yeah, that's just how people are
That's how
nowadays.
college football is.
No, it's just how people are. They just
Yeah, the
everyone
ADHD
thinks they
kids.
need this
I-
this constant
I think that's
noise.
I think that's a cop out BS though. That's somebody who thinks that's what it needs
Yes,
to be.
but I don't think he didn't like it.
Right.
I just think he was just saying, well, yeah, that's just how people are
It's the-
now.
it's the
Well, I think it's how they are now. I think it's how they
Playification
think
of
it
college
needs to be
football.
now. And that's what bugs me. It is the NBA of college football. And it's just it's wrong. That's
Look,
not how people
There's so
that's
much
not necessary.
there's so much yelling, right?
right.
I mean, this is maybe one of the most I've ever screamed for a game.
Oh, yeah.
And
I was more into this game than the Michigan game.
you
Me too.
just
I don't know
Me
why.
too. I don't know why either.
you just need like a break.
You
right?
need a break.
There's so
Yes.
the decibel levels are so constant.
Yeah.
and it's
And
coming,
I'm not gonna lose interest.
and it's
I'm not
coming
gonna,
internally from yourself.
I
You're
know.
creating the
I'm
decibels,
not gonna go
as
home
well.
because we stopped yelling
and
at
you
me.
just need a break. Can
Yeah.
we just have a quiet?
Now, I will say,
break
I
for a
liked
little bit.
the transition this time much better than Michigan from the third quarter to the fourth quarter. I thought that the choice of "We Will Rock You" was great. I thought it kept the rhythm going. It kept the intensity at the right level. I thought they did a really good job with that, and their timing was really good. And Gerald McCoy came on, and it ended at a very appropriate time, right before
His segments are entirely too loud.
They are too loud.
It's like they crank up his segment.
It is
I agree.
too loud.
I just loved when they played, I think it was Final Countdown,
Uh-huh.
coming out of the 2-minute timeout
Yeah.
or 2-minute warning to
Yeah.
end the game.
Yeah.
It was like perfectly placed. Everybody knew the words
Yeah.
and we're getting fired
Right.
up for it because we've got them at the goal line.
Mhm.
We're fixing to, trying
Yeah.
to get the safety or whatever to end the game.
Yeah.
And they fired that up, and I feel like everybody got jacked
So you're
up
not-
for that.
So
You're
they're
not trying to be a curmudgeon, generally.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is,
no.
I'm the guy that goes to
we-
concerts 17
right,
times a month.
the assumption is that they tell me is home field advantage matters because the crowd being loud and cheering. And what you're saying is you want the PA system to encourage the crowd's involvement, not to discourage the crowd's involvement.
And not to supplement or not to take away from it, not to
Right.
substitute for it.
And them, it's somewhat like the boomer sooner after a first down. It's contrived and unnecessary. It's not organic with the fan base.
Right.
We have never done it. Don't make us try to do it. Don't play the music because instead of participating in it, we're just going to sit there and say, okay, when you're done, now it's my turn to talk.
That's how I feel.
And it's not getting you involved. There was times where they got better, but yes, you're not saying the environment's bad just to say the environment's bad. You're saying the environment's bad because you're taking away from what should be a home field advantage.
Yeah, I think so for sure.
I agree.
So
But for me personally, just my own opinion, I just want some silence to talk to my son or to talk to the Auburn fan that's here.
right,
And just in general, like,
right,
can we have a minute and a half
right.
where there's just not something
Well,
blaring
here's the deal.
constant?
When they're on the sidelines talking, there's 2 points to this. One, our guys, our coaches need to talk to our guys.
I've got the same thing. Can
And
I
then
coach
two,
it here
And then two,
when we're doing
I don't think
OU?
it
And
matters.
there's
On the other side, I don't think they're thinking, I don't think it's disrupting what they're trying to do. If we are
our
loud.
OU chant did nothing to Auburn in the
Right.
timeout.
Right.
It did nothing.
So there was a time when Auburn had an injured player and they are coming out and our coaching is yelling, our defensive coaches are yelling at our defense to come over. And half of them can't hear.
Yeah.
And they're all just standing there waiting, looking at Auburn, like trying to figure out what's going on. And then finally somebody looks over and realizes, hey, we need to go over. You probably are playing your music too loud when your coaches can't communicate to your
and in
players.
between quarters or in between timeouts or whatever, when Brent Venables, who's the defensive coordinator as well as the head coach, he's not just trying to talk to the 11 guys that are coming off the field.
Right,
He's trying to talk to about 20 guys
right,
because you've got backups, multiple defensive linemen and safeties and everybody. And he's trying to yell at them. And we know he loses his voice like crazy.
yeah.
So how is he
Like his
able to
eyebrows.
communicate with 20 people in a circle when they're playing the loudest possible music on the
Yeah.
Jumbotron?
I agree.
It's insane.
It is really insane. And I
And no
also,
matter how many surveys I
I
put out,
know,
I get one every single game. Season ticket holders get an email on Sunday, and I always get on it.
Anybody that goes.
And they started
I'm not a
asking-
season ticket holder. I get
yeah,
one.
anyone who
After
goes.
game one,
It's whoever goes with the
after
ticket.
game one of the questions was, what did you think of the volume of the music? Because there was so much social media about how insane it was. I got a text from my cousin saying, I can hear how loud the PA system is through the TV. That's crazy.
Well, it's crazy, and I
You
don't
should
like
be able
the
to pick out
same,
what the
same
third
song
down song is that they play every single
every
time.
single.
And he's just like, God, that is so
Now
annoying.
let's talk about a big miss, and it was sort of unfair. So the woman who kicked the Chick-fil-A field goal or tried to, the guy set the ball up for her, and he must have never teed a football up because
Oh,
he
man.
teed it up almost
I didn't
horizontal.
see it. Oh,
So she kicks it, it doesn't get up in the air, and I felt
Yeah,
bad
it's like
for
2
her.
feet off the ground.
Yeah, I was like,
that's pretty bad. So, all of those things aside, I like the direction of where the team's going. I like
Outside the
our
running game.
prospects outside of the running game. That's the only thing where the direction I don't understand. Like I give them some grace on the offensive line. I think they're figuring things out still, and we've had some
Any
injuries.
injuries, yeah.
So the running game's got to get there. Now that works hand in hand with the offensive line. Overall, I'm pretty positive. I think our ceiling's really high. I'm not gonna have us, maybe in the off week, we'll talk more in the bye week, in the midweek for the bye week, where we get to talk about a lot of other things. We can talk about where we think the trajectory is and if it's changed. I don't know if you're gonna be changed from your number based on the fact that the running game's not there. And if anything, I
Well,
probably have to
I mean,
dial it down a little bit.
As far as
myself.
win-loss
Yeah,
or
yeah,
overall
all of
expectation.
both.
I mean, watching football today, I mean, leading up to this, Texas, I mean, they look good today against Sam Houston State.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, they have not looked good. So where I was
He lost
penciling
the
that
helmet,
in as a
didn't he?
possible loss, I had us 4 losses in the last 7 games. I could see it only being 2 or 3 losses.
So
But we have to progress.
We have to progress.
The offensive line has to get better.
well, so
Because today they struggled at pass blocking,
Yeah.
which they hadn't
Hadn't-
struggled at
hadn't,
all,
yeah.
even against Michigan.
Now this might be the
That
best
was-
D line we face all year.
We said that against Michigan.
Well, I think you said it tonight against about Auburn. I mean,
I'm saying, I hope this is.
right.
I said, I hope this is
Until
the
we play
toughest
Kent
defensive
State.
line
Yeah.
that we face the rest of the season, or else we're definitely in trouble. Because if this is the 3rd best defensive line we face, then we're screwed in the other 2 games.
Maybe not. I mean,
Because we
what
barely.
if these are all like NFL?
We had
we could-
300 yards.
we could
today.
get better. So there
Yeah.
might be a better defensive line, but we
could.
will get better
We could.
to offset that.
So where I think where Mateer leaves me wanting is deep balls, and that could be play design, that could be him throwing the deep ball. I haven't seen, everybody wants to, oh, he's Baker Mayfield. He has that moxie. Baker Mayfield could throw a deep ball pretty damn well.
Still can.
And he would.
Right. And I want to see somebody pull the trigger, throw a deep ball. Maybe throw enough deep balls, the linebackers and safeties back up and your run game opens up. But we better be able to throw a deep ball. We better be able to get a run game going on offense. I don't think you can say we're going to be 12-0 until we show that we can do that. Because that's going to come back and really get you.
Well, that will get you, even if you get the turnovers that you expect to get, and even if we're like 2-2 on turnovers, much less if we're 2-0 on turnovers, you're still going to have to game in and game out. You're still going to have to run the football effectively, or it'll catch up to you because we'll be in a game like this game where you need to run the ball to run the clock, and you can't, and they're getting the ball back with 5 minutes to play, and it doesn't, and they're going down for a field goal to take the lead or whatever.
And so then on the defensive side, looking at today, I think we played obviously you're only giving up 3 touchdowns all season long.
Yeah.
This is the first game that we've given up a first half touchdown.
First
So we played really well on defense, but you probably want to say, hey, I want to see some more disruption, even if it's not turnovers, some more disruption on the defensive side of the ball.
10 sacks is a lot of disruption.
Yeah, but most
It
of that came
is.
late.
It is. It did come late. We knew they had to move the ball, but
We needed it.
I know Jackson Arnold. I watched him turn the ball over and break my heart many a time. That we weren't tipping balls constantly and trying to get an interception was a little bit like, what's going on? Who is this Jackson Arnold?
I don't feel like our linebackers did anything today.
Arizona.
Our defensive line was the pressure on a lot of the passing.
I think Kip had a lot of tackles.
Yeah.
I think
that guy.
Yeah, Kip came in for a lot of.
I think Kip made a lot of tackles.
Is Kip and Osamigo our best linebacker set? Maybe he takes, or they play the same position to where
I think
you're not going to have
Kobe's
both
just
those
not
guys out
flashy.
there.
Yeah, I think
I agree
Kobe's
that.
good,
Yeah.
not flashy.
I agree.
What we got?
But
Kip Lewis led the team with 10 tackles, 3 solos.
Yeah, I was
Sammy,
gonna say a lot of them were
Sammy with
joint tackles.
Sammy was second with 6, 4 solos.
What McKenzie had.
I gotta scroll. I'm not gonna lie, I gotta scroll. 3,
what did R. Mason Thomas have in one half of action?
4 with 4 solos.
So that's a difference maker, and it shows you that if you come in with fresh legs, what you can do. Well, let's wrap it up. Just kind of put a bow on this game to say we're 4-0. We got to be pretty happy about it. I'm happier with 4-0, this 4-0 than I've been at any 4-0 so far, and we've been 4-0 under Brent every year, right? We're 5-0, weren't we?
We've been 4-0 every year?
Second time in 4 years.
No, because we came in 4-0 last year because we lost to Tennessee
Yeah.
and we played Maine late in the season.
The first year
so-
we lost to K-State after the Nebraska game, right? So we were 3.
Yep, 3-1.
Was that
3-1.
3-1?
I think
Okay.
So way to mess that stat up.
I
Um,
just saw a graphic that said 4-0 for the second time in 4 years.
second time.
Yes.
So because TCU was the fourth game that in.
No,
that's
no,
who
because we lost K-State, then TCU.
Well, the 10-2 year, we got 4 in a row,
Yeah,
right?
that's the four.
So
Yeah,
the 2
that's the
6
4-0.
and 6 years are the ones that we lost the 4th game.
Yeah, we lost Nebraska. I mean, we
We
beat
beat Nebraska,
Nebraska, then we
lost
lost
K-State.
K-State, then we lost TCU when Gabriel got hurt. Then there was a week we didn't even play football. Texas did, but we did not.
Then last year.
Oh, that was 3 and I thought TCU was the first loss.
Who was our first loss to last year?
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
That was the 4th game.
That was
No,
the
third
third
game,
game.
because
Third
we
game.
played Maine
That's
late
right.
in the year.
That's right. That's right. So
Yeah.
was it third game or?
Third,
Yeah,
We
third
played
game.
Tulane.
Wrap it up. I'm
Houston.
happy.
Houston, Tulane.
So anyway,
And the realist is happy.
we're a hell of a lot
And
more
I'm also
happy
pretty
now than we
much
were
I don't know if I told you, but I almost had the score right
in
today.
21.
And we're gonna be 5.
And you got the
In
Zach
21,
score
we
right
were
last week.
we're happy at 4-0, I think,
I
than we
know,
were at
those
9-0
points
in Lincoln's last year.
Oh yeah, because we've said it several times on
Yeah.
here. That was the worst
we were-
9-0 we ever
yeah.
felt. I mean,
Right.
It kept being close.
So we got a lot
So-
to be happy about.
So
And so even more to my point, I thought we were 4-0 every time off the cup, but obviously we're only 2 out of the 4 years with Brent. This is really good. This is progress,
So you-
especially the fact that we played 2 very tough opponents in that 4 game
So you-
stretch.
let's not be overly optimistic, but let's say 10-2 probably 10-2 definitely gets you into the playoff.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Where we're gonna beat Kent State. So
5-0.
we'll be 5-0. You get to 10-2, you're definitely in. Probably you go to 9-3 with the way we end the season, you might be in as well.
Absolutely.
But the committee might look at you like, oh, they lost 3 of the last 5 games.
Right.
That's a possibility.
That is a possibility. But being
not if Michigan
not if Michigan keeps on winning.
improving. Yeah.
Sure.
But if we would have been 9-3 and we lose today, even with the wins going out, I don't know if you get in at 9-3 with the
I
loss.
think
to
it's
Auburn.
I think it's the same. I think it's the same debate.
I don't know because we beat a very good Michigan team. Texas, Illinois, look at the teams who stayed above us in the rankings. If we lose today, we drop down to probably 22.
Yeah.
Auburn takes our spot and we bought to 22. So now you got to work your way back up
I don't know if we'd fall that much.
and you're going to lose 2 games.
We'd fall. What are we right now?
11.
We'd fall.
It was 11 versus
You think
22.
we'd fall
And we'll
11
definitely talk to
places?
you next week because
They probably
Illinois
fall to
got their pants
19.
blown off.
And
Right.
Auburn would go to
And they were
17.
Right, but you look, I mean, Illinois, there was 6
It'd be
teams.
tough. No, it'd
there
be
was
tough.
6 there was
I don't
4
know.
teams above us,
Yeah,
6
yeah,
teams
yeah.
above us
Yeah.
who did not have a
So
win
you're
as
saying it's
good
better to
as
win
Michigan.
today than down.
Because I think you're pushing yourself up the rankings. So when you lose,
Right.
when you
Probably.
lose those later games against top 10 teams, you're falling from 5 to 9.
Yeah.
If you're down
That's
at
probably
if you're
true.
down at 19,
I don't know if you'll be that low, but
and
yeah.
you beat Kent State, but then you beat Texas or you lose to Texas, depending on how you lose,
might
you
be
might
out
fall
of it.
out of the top 25.
If you
And
let
now
your
you're
Notre
working
Dame-
and now you're working your way back in.
Right.
So I think today was a must win if you think there's a chance at 9
It's
and
harder to
3
move
get it.
up than
Maybe.
it is to fall.
That's right. That's right. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Once you
I can
start
see
that
that.
ball,
I can
I
see
can
that.
see that.
I can see that.
I mean, look at Texas. Texas played Ohio State close and then played horrible the next couple games.
And they're
they're
still
still
ranked.
And they're still ranked ahead of us.
Yeah.
way ahead of us.
And
Yeah.
which is totally just
Well, we got them on the
Unbelievable.
field, so
We'll take them on.
if we beat them in the Cotton Bowl, we'll go
Right.
ahead of them
Well-
and we'll have the tiebreaker
but
if
it's
it comes
well,
down
but
to
it's-
it.
well,
so I
something-
want you want to be as high as you can.
I agree. No, I think that's a good point. So we can debate that a little bit more on the midweek. We can also talk about what's going to come out on Tuesday is the schedules for the next 4 years and who are our our
Permanent opponent.
permanent opponents, 4 permanent opponents.
3 permanent
Oh,
opponents.
yeah, 3 permanent opponents, but really 2.
So is
We know that-
No Texas, yeah.
is this like when the SEC came out when we were joining the conference and they said this
I
first
sure
year,
not.
here's the teams you're playing, and next year you're going to play Texas's schedule, and then later on we come back and say, hold on, we just
They
rethought
said they're
it.
gonna reevaluate after 4 years.
Right, okay.
So
Okay.
So we'll have a lot to talk about with that. That's gonna
Missouri's
be-
definitely gonna be there.
a
We
good
played them like
conversation.
85 times or something over the years. So
Well,
it's definitely Texas and Missouri.
I guess,
The only
yes.
question is the third.
so
And we'll
yeah,
talk
all
about
right. So we'll talk about it, but this is our only chance
My
to give a
prediction-
prediction.
Florida, just because seems like all the
That's
pundits
the
say
talk. That's the
Florida
talk.
doesn't really have a third rival
Right.
and that they need to
So
essentially
give me
create
two
something.
things. Give me your prediction, which is Missouri, Florida. Give me what you want. So Texas, Missouri, Florida is your prediction.
Right. Arkansas for ease of travel.
Yep.
Kentucky would be good.
I would
We have no
rather.
side of Kentucky.
I
but
agree with your.
the state of Kentucky.
I agree with your prediction. I disagree slightly with your what I want. I want Missouri, Arkansas, Texas, obviously, because I want the ease of travel, the regionality of it. I think that makes
That's
a lot
not
of
disagreeing
sense.
with me because that's what I was.
I would love
No,
to, I'd love
no,
to
you
have
said
Mississippi
Kentucky.
State
Well, I
and
said
Vanderbilt.
my first choice would be Arkansas as the third
Okay.
for ease of travel.
Oh, you said
But
Arkansas.
if we didn't get Arkansas, I would say
over
of all
Florida.
the just random places
Oh,
that
sure,
could
I
put
agree.
us,
Then I agree
South
totally.
Carolina, Kentucky.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
If I had it, well, Nashville's cool and it's easy to get.
But wouldn't
to
you
on
want
plane.
Vanderbilt, Mississippi State get some easy wins on the schedule?
I don't really care anything
Vanderbilt's
going to
fun,
Starkville, but I mean,
So I agree with that.
Vandy
You
would be
guys,
cool because Nashville's.
what do you guys
easy and cheap.
predict? What do you want?
I think it'll be Missouri and Texas.
And-
And I agree. I think it'll probably be Florida, not just because Florida might not have a natural rival. I think the diversity, the geographic diversity will be a reason because you think about TV
Yeah,
and you can get Oklahoma fans watching a Florida game in the same way you can get a Florida on a later game
Yeah.
schedule
yeah.
because of that, because of the time.
Yeah,
zone.
And
get
that
those
helps in
overtimes in.
recruiting.
And that helps
If
recruiting.
we're at Florida every
It
other
helps
year,
us, yeah.
it helps us.
So
to
we might be
recruit the state
advocating.
of Florida.
We might be advocating.
Maybe
for
it's a
Florida.
hard trip for fans because there's nothing.
Hard trip for fans, but I think
Gainesville's
it's
not
great for
easy to get
TV.
to.
I think when you look at it, I bet you'll see a lot of geographic diversity on the third game for a lot of teams.
So who do you want it to be? Have you talked?
Well, I know-
in Florida.
I know who
Missouri's easy for you to get to.
right. I know who I don't want it to be. Like I wouldn't.
A&M. I
I
don't.
wouldn't want it to be A&M because
LSU.
I don't want it to be LSU. I don't want it to be Alabama. I don't want it to be Auburn.
Georgia.
Mississippi.
Don't want
Mississippi
Georgia.
State.
Mississippi State would not be fun. So you're kind of left with it just falls out. I mean, you have Kentucky and Florida in there
Arkansas.
and Arkansas. But Arkansas, the problem is Arkansas is so close. There is a little bit of
I think that's a good thing. From
I
a
agree.
fan's perspective.
from a fan. Well, it's also a good thing if you're recruiting Texas really hard because you can tell Texas kids, we're going to play Texas and Dallas, we're going to play Arkansas, and we're going to play Missouri. All where
All
you're
road trip.
all
for
road
the
road
families.
trippable for your families. But Florida gets you a recruiting base. I think it ends in Florida because of everything that's been said. I think you just
Okay.
take out who you don't.
Jay, prediction and your preference.
Gosh,
Be different for God's sakes.
I don't know. I really don't even care. I don't care.
All right,
Connor,
so
what do you think?
Mississippi State.
Oh,
Connor, what do you think?
Oh,
Connor,
no.
Connor couldn't make
You
it.
obviously have to have Texas.
The game day.
I wouldn't mind Arkansas for their proximity because
Fayetteville's a great town.
as we've gone into the SEC, it's harder to make as many trips, road
Right.
trips. That's
I
an
think-
easy road trip for Oklahoma fans. I would probably throw in, I could care less about Missouri or going to Missouri. So if you wanted to replace Missouri with an LSU or an A&M,
Hmm.
I'm fine with that.
LSU is longer than you think, farther away.
But I mean,
and
I don't care about Missouri.
but here's the deal. I don't
don't
care
either.
about
They
Missouri,
don't.
but I'd rather
We
play
have a
Missouri.
Big 7 and Big 8
The-
and Big 12
There's a
rivals.
historic
Six.
rivalry, but even
Maybe
more
Big Six
importantly, I'm
together?
looking at it.
Us in Missouri.
Maybe.
Was there a Big 6 before the Big 7?
I don't.
I think it started Big 7. Anyway, I am
We're not
more.
that old.
I'm more interested in a team like Missouri is not going to be as good as a team like LSU year in and year out. And we already have a daunting schedule. I don't want to lock up with somebody who's always daunting or clearly better
But yeah, we'll get
perennially
Florida.
than the other one.
So-
Yeah.
But I will.
Yeah, and if we get Florida, then definitely give me a Missouri or an Arkansas. You don't give me a team I got to fear.
Yeah, don't give us Texas A&M, and Florida.
In Florida or
Yeah.
LSU. That's too much.
Yeah.
That's
So
ridiculous.
Big
I
Six.
only half listened to what you said,
Big 6. Stats guy, you got it.
but I will say the reason I don't want Arkansas, I think that is a no-win game. You beat Arkansas.
Yeah.
You should
That's
beat
true.
Arkansas.
That's
Arkansas
true.
sucks.
We saw that with Alabama year in and
It's
year
the
out. Almost
OSU.
lost
It's
that
the
game.
OSU of the Big 12 when we ended it. It
Yeah.
is OSU beats you, and it's great for them. You beat OSU, and that's what you should do. And that's how I feel. What it is with what it would be with Arkansas. It's almost that way with Missouri in my mind too.
That could be.
I don't
That
want
actually
both
could be.
Missouri and Arkansas because I don't think that's a one where we get as much for our win as they get for beating us.
But I'd hate to go up against opponents that you really can pencil in a 1.5 loss expected value every time. And that's what you've got with the Texas A&M, LSU combination.
But if they are the OSU of the SEC, we were what, 93 and
Yeah.
19 against OSU
Yeah.
over the history?
Yeah.
So if we play Arkansas
And even in the
20
last 20 years, we were.
and we go
great against
18-2 or 17-3, I take that every time
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
against an Arkansas.
But
But you have to win.
And Arkansas, outside of a couple Bobby Petrino years, has not been good since 70.
So-
Yeah. Since
so-
Frank Broyles.
So the counter argument, and the counter would be you put maybe a better Alabama team or a Georgia team on your schedule. You might run a year where you have a down year and you just get blown out.
Yeah.
True.
And that might be worse than losing to an Arkansas every 5th or 6th year.
Yeah. True.
So you got to
That's
balance
what
it.
worries me about Florida.
Now-
That would, right.
Florida does have their runs where they have like a 3-year Urban
Right.
Meyer style or Steve Spurrier era, or I mean, hell, even Ron Zook had them
Right,
winning
right.
10
But before
games.
Spurrier, that's
Well,
bad.
and then look at this though. With
Spurrier won Heisman.
Alabama,
What are you talking about? The 60s.
with Alabama, they may not be. I mean, it's not Nick Saban, Alabama. If we play them in the last 30 years, we're winning most of those games. So Alabama might not be a bad one to match up against from the standpoint of you get a lot of credit for playing Alabama, and their name is bigger than who they are.
I mean,
right
they had
now.
about a 14-year run in the same, or something like that, didn't they?
Right, yes.
Maybe.
Yeah. Aside from that,
Yeah.
I mean, we dominate them in 30 years looking back.
Right. When on that same run with Saban, as we were talking, look how many coaches are now coaching Division I football that were on that staff at
Yeah.
some point. I mean, they're just everything, the
Incredible.
stars aligned.
Everything aligned for.
Well, he was
for the
also
Nick
taking
Saban era.
reclamation projects like Sark and like Kiffin. And I
Right.
mean, he was taking in guys that were down, like,
Right.
like the
Got fired from
those
USC.
guys.
Got fired from USC.
Right.
Not to-
Those guys.
and-
And I'm the guy left on the tarmac.
Not to take anything away from him, but he caught the SEC right when it was the right time.
Yeah.
Everything was the stars aligned.
Right.
Yep.
And so the SEC got better towards the end of his career, but the SEC was not that good when he walked into town.
Right.
For sure. So anyway, we'll have a lot to talk about on the midweek. I'm excited. We're 4-0. We got to be happy about that, but we got work to do. It's a long way from here to the playoff, and we're going to see if we can get there. Until then, Boomer.
Sooner.